Today we're going to dive into a really powerful idea, taken from an essay with this exact title. It's the idea that just one single creative act can literally build a bridge across our deepest, most painful divides. Just listen to this quote from Albert Einstein. He said this about a man whose simple acts of defiance would go on to change the entire world. It really captures the almost unbelievable power of one person's conviction. So who was he talking about? And more importantly, what does it have to do with us today? And that's really the heart of what we're talking about. It's a huge claim, right? The idea that true creativity, when it comes from a place of real clarity and purpose, can actually give a voice to the voiceless and spark movements that totally reshape our world. You know how they say every huge fire starts with a single spark? Well, let's take a look at the exact moment that ignited a global movement for change. This is it, the inciting incident. It's 1893, and MK Gandhi, a lawyer, gets violently thrown off a train. Why? For no other reason than the color of his skin. That one humiliating, unjust moment, it didn't just change his life. It sent a crack through the entire foundation of colonial rule. But what kind of world was he really up against? You see, a creative act is only as powerful as the division it's trying to heal. And this was a storm. And I mean, just look at the sheer scale of these divides. We're talking about the dehumanizing British rule in India, decades of brutal apartheid in South Africa, legally enforced segregation in America, and ongoing struggles for land and freedom from Tibet to the Amazon. These aren't just isolated problems. They are deep, historical wounds, fueled by greed and just plain apathy. And this brings up a really key point from the source material. There's a massive difference between these hollow, power-driven moves that just fizzle out and the lasting impact of real, genuine creativity. You see, actions that are born from a pure, clear intent, they have deep roots. They tap into truths that have been suppressed for years, and they have this timeless quality that cheap imitations just can't fake. Okay, so how does this creativity thing actually work? How does it become a catalyst for real, lasting change? Let's break it down with 3 absolutely powerful examples. So back to Gandhi. Decades after that train incident, he channeled all of that resolve into this incredible act of creative dissent. The British controlled salt, a basic necessity for life. So Gandhi decided to do something simple and profound. He just decided to walk to the sea and make his own. And get this wasn't some symbolic stroll around the block. He led his followers 240 miles to the coast. That number, it's not just distance. It represents this incredible, grueling commitment, a physical act of resistance that captured the attention of the entire planet. And the impact? It was monumental. For a nation that had been made to feel powerless, this single march gave them back their self-esteem. It pulled millions of people into the independence movement, and it's seen as a major reason the British finally left India in 1947. Okay, now let's jump forward a few decades and fly across the globe. In segregated America, another quiet but earth-shattering act of creative dissent took place. Rosa Parks, who was actually inspired by Gandhi's methods, made a simple choice. She would not give up her seat on the bus. Her single act sparked this massive, coordinated response. For over a full year, the Black community of Montgomery just refused to ride the city buses. Think about the sacrifice, the discipline, the sheer organization that took. It's immense. And this boycott, it didn't just change the bus rules in one city. No way. It ignited the entire American civil rights movement. It was this powerful demonstration of what disciplined, nonviolent unity could do. And it led directly to tearing down segregation laws all across the country. All right, our third example takes us to the Himalayas in the 1970s. Logging companies were about to destroy the local forests. So the women there, mostly from tribal communities, came up with a response that was so simple, it was brilliant. They hugged the trees. They literally put their bodies between the saws in the forest. This act of tree hugging, which became known as the Chipko Movement, was unbelievably effective. It saved thousands of acres of forest, it sparked a national conversation about protecting the environment, and it directly influenced India's environmental protection laws. So this is a good spot to pause and get really clear on what we mean by creativity here. It's not about being a great painter or a musician. In this context, creativity is the small, purposeful act. It's about taking a stand, no matter how small it seems, with the clear and pure intention of giving a voice to those who have been silenced. So you can see the pattern, right? These small sparks that grow into these massive, world-changing movements. How do they build these tsunami-like bridges across such huge divides? Well, think about it. Gandhi's walk to the sea didn't just help free India, it gave the whole world a new tool, nonviolent resistance. Rosa Parks' stand on that bus didn't just change America, it inspired equality movements everywhere. And the Chipko women's hugs created this powerful new blueprint for environmental activism that's been used all over the globe.
And you know, this isn't just something from the history books. This exact principle is alive and well today. A small community protest, a neighborhood group getting together to clean up a local park. These are the modern sparks. It's about finding your voice through one single purposeful act. Which brings us right up to the present day. The divisions we face now might look a little different, but that same creative rhythm, that same spirit is still out there, weaving a new future. Just look at this. The same creative spirit is still bridging seemingly impossible divides. Nelson Mandela comes out of 27 years in prison and chooses reconciliation, not revenge. The Dalai Lama has continued his nonviolent advocacy for Tibet for decades. And in the Amazon, indigenous peoples are using their own ancient rituals as a form of creative resistance. The rhythm is universal, it endures.
And that ultimately brings us to the final and most important question that the source material leaves us with. It turns this whole idea right back around to us, to you. It asks us to look at the world around us, to see the silences, to find the suppressed truths, and to consider a simple but profound challenge. What suppressed voice will your creativity lift?